Hello everybody, welcome back. If you're new, I'm Claudia. Thank you so much for being here. A couple of you wanted to know what sort of vitamins and supplements I take on a regular basis. So in today's video, I'm going to share everything I take with you, and I'm also going to tell you why I take what I take. But before we get started, I feel the need to say that even though I take my share of vitamins, of course, we need to get the bulk of our nutrients from real food. Supplements are just that. They're supplements, right? So with that said, I have all my supplements lined up right here. Let me show you what I take on a regular basis. All right, as I said, I have all my vitamins and supplements lined up right here, and I'm just going to choose in no particular order. This first one right here, I have talked about a bunch on this channel. This is my Liposomal Vitamin C. I just recently made a video on liposomal vitamin C for collagen production, and in that video I show you how you can easily make your own liposomal vitamin C. If you haven't seen the video, I will link it down below. But liposomal vitamin C is something I have been taking for several years now and do not want to be without. Initially I started taking it for my asthma. I used to have really bad asthma. I was on 4 different medications, 2 steroids, 1 rescue inhaler, which I took all the time, and an allergy medicine. And basically, none of them did much. I learned about liposomal vitamin C, back then bought it did wonders, and eventually I started making my own. Now, the reason I think liposomal vitamin C is helping so much with my asthma, along with some other things I'll talk about in a second, is that vitamin C, of course, is a very powerful antioxidant. And it can help with oxidative stress. Oxidative stress causes inflammation, and asthma is an inflammatory disease. So I think liposomal vitamin C is helping to keep the oxidative stress at bay, and therefore is helping to keep my inflammation at bay. I also feel, and this is just something that is anecdotal, I have no way of proving it, but I do feel that taking liposomal vitamin C has helped my immunity. My husband has come home with all kinds of bugs and viruses, and knock on wood, I haven't gotten any of them. And on top of that, I also think taking liposomal vitamin C has helped my skin and my connective tissue in general, because vitamin C, of course, is crucial for collagen production. Now, the reason I like taking vitamin C in liposomal form instead of just taking a regular L-ascorbic acid supplement is, first of all, liposomal vitamin C is much more bioavailable. If we take regular vitamin C, once we start taking more than 1 gram or 1000 milligrams, we only absorb about half of it. So if I take 1 gram, I only absorb about 500 milligrams, versus liposomal vitamin C is 100% bioavailable. And the other problem with vitamin C supplements is that, again, once we start taking higher doses, it can cause stomach distress, diarrhea, those sort of things. Liposomal vitamin C, the vitamin C is encapsulated in a fat pocket. It bypasses the stomach, goes into the small intestine. There it is absorbed, and no side effects, no stomach upset, diarrhea, or anything like that. So I am a big fan of liposomal delivery in general, but definitely liposomal vitamin C. And like I said, I actually make my own because I take quite a bit of it. I take 3 tablespoons every day, which comes out to be about 5 grams or 5,000 milligrams, so quite a bit. But to me, this is basically medicine at this point. So I take quite a bit. It doesn't taste good. I put it in a bit of orange juice and just chuck it down. But because I take so much of it, it is just so much more economical to make my own. So if you want to know how to make liposomal vitamin C, like I said, I will link the video down below. Another supplement which has helped my asthma quite a bit, along with the liposomal vitamin C, but also my skin, is this right here. This is my omega-3 supplement, and it is made from algae. And by the way, everything I'm showing you, aside from the liposomal vitamin C, like I said, I make that myself. Everything you're able to actually purchase, I will link down below in the description box. But this is my omega-3 supplement. And omega-3, as we know, is an essential fatty acid. So are omega-6 as well as omega-9. However, most of us get too many omega-6s and omega-9s in our diet and not enough omega-3. And though omega-6 and omega-9 are essential, they are essential fatty acids, they tend to be on the inflammatory side. Omega-3 is anti-inflammatory. So for me, since I have been taking an omega-3 supplement, and I also make sure I get a lot of omega-3 rich foods in my diet. I eat a lot of chia seed, flaxseed, hemp seed, those sort of things. So since I have really paid attention to sort of get that ratio of omega-6 and 9 to omega-3 a little bit more balanced, I have noticed a big difference. Like I said, it has helped my asthma, but also my skin. I used to have such dry and sensitive and reactive skin. And again, since paying attention to getting enough omega-3s in my diet, that has really changed. I actually tried using Retin-A many years ago and my skin did not like it. It freaked out after just a couple of uses. Now I can use Retin-A every single night, no problems. And I do believe, though other factors of course are at play as well, I do believe that having an omega-3 supplement in my diet, and again, getting enough omega-3s in my diet through food, has helped my skin actually to be able to handle Retin-A. So for those of you out there, I know some of you have reached out to me and said you cannot use Retin-A, it is just eating up your skin. Take a look at your diet and see if maybe you're getting a few too many omega-6s and omega-9s in your diet and not enough omega-3s. And maybe you want to supplement, or again, you can eat chia seed, flaxseed. Now, we're always told to eat fish or take a fish supplement for omega-3, right? But fish actually get their omega-3 content from eating algae. So why not cut out the middleman? Better for us, better for the environment. We're not killing fish. And the nice thing about these, there is no fishy aftertaste. You don't burp these up. These are lovely. I have been taking these for years now. My husband actually takes these as well. So again, this is my omega-3 supplement, something else I don't want to be without. But as I said, I also make sure that I get enough omega-3s in my diet. This one right here is another supplement I do not want to be without. This is my Liposomal Nicotinamide Mononucleotide, or NMN. I have actually talked quite a bit about this supplement on my channel. I will link a couple of videos down below. But nicotinamide mononucleotide, or NMN, is a form of vitamin B3 niacinamide, which is a precursor to a molecule called nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, or NAD. And NAD is an important molecule which is responsible for over hundreds of functions in our body. Of course, as we age, as with everything else, NAD declines. So this is a longevity or anti-aging supplement. And like I said, I do not want to be without it. I have noticed such benefits since taking NMN. I have been taking NMN for 7 months now. Before taking NMN, I took NR, which is nicotinamide riboside. It's also a form of vitamin B3 and therefore a precursor for NAD. I prefer NMN and I prefer it in liposomal delivery. I am a big fan of liposomal delivery. I just think it is so much more bioavailable. But what I have noticed since taking NAD precursors is, the first thing I've noticed is that my sleep drastically improved. I started sleeping a lot deeper. Therefore, of course, I woke up more rested and had more energy throughout the day. And though I've never really struggled with energy before taking NAD precursors, usually around 3 in the afternoon, a nap always sounded like a really good idea. Since taking NAD precursors, my energy is nice and stable. I don't need a nap. I've also gotten a lot stronger since taking NAD precursors. In fact, my husband jokes around that when we work out together, I take his weights away from him. And then lastly, what I've noticed, I don't get a lot of gray hair, which is surprising because my dad is completely white. But in the last 10 years, I've gotten those pesky ones that stick up like an antenna, and I found myself plugging 1 or 2 every day. Since taking this, I have hardly had a gray hair. So in the last year, I've plucked maybe 3 or 4, and that's it. So I really, really love taking NAD precursors. If it was just for the quality of sleep improvement alone, I would be sold. But I also like all the other benefits. It gives me sort of an overall sense of well-being, which is hard to describe because I wasn't feeling unwell before. But this has definitely given me a greater sense of well-being. And if you're curious about NAD precursors, Dr. David Sinclair, who is a Harvard professor studying the field of longevity, has done some incredible studies on NMN. I will link some down below. It is fascinating. So this is, like I said, something I do not want to be without. This little guy right here is Biocell. And I don't know if the camera is going to focus on it. But this is a liquid silicone, not silicone, but silicone supplement. And silicone, along with copper and zinc, is a cofactor needed to make collagen. So to make collagen, the body needs a string of amino acids, vitamin C, crucial, and then zinc, copper, and silicone. Now, I am vegan, so I don't take a collagen supplement, and truthfully, I don't really believe in collagen supplements. I really believe that we can get all the amino acids needed to make collagen from food, but silicone is a bit harder to get from food. So I have taken this for probably now 3 years. Initially, I started taking it because every summer I start shedding like crazy. It is normal for me. It starts in July, stops in October, but every year I freak out. So when it happened a few years ago, I bought this and I actually noticed a difference. It didn't stop the shedding, but it slowed it down. And I've read some interesting studies actually showing that taking a silicone supplement can improve hair density. If I can find the studies, I will link them down below. So this is something, like I said, I have been taking for several years now. I like the liquid form. It also comes in capsules, but I prefer the liquid. I find it a bit more economical. I put about 5 drops in my water every morning. It's tasteless, and like I said, I really do think it has helped with my hair and probably also with my skin, nails, and again, connective tissue, since it is a cofactor for collagen production. Next, I have my vitamin D supplement. This is D3 plus K2. Now, vitamin D we know as the sunshine vitamin. I live in southern Italy right now, so plenty of sunshine, but I actually had my vitamin D tested and it was low. 2 reasons for that. First of all, I am so worried about sun damage now that I constantly cover up. I wear sunscreen, I wear clothing. Secondly, as we age, our ability to synthesize vitamin D from the sun declines. So I was tested, I was low, I started taking this. This is a vegan vitamin D. Normally vitamin D comes from sheep, from lanolin. This is from lichen, which is a fungus. And as I said, it is vitamin D3 plus K2. And K2 is important when you take a vitamin D supplement for absorption. Now, vitamin D, though we call it a vitamin, is actually a hormone. So it's not a good idea to just start taking a supplement if you don't know if you're actually low in vitamin D. So if you're thinking that you might be low in vitamin D, go see your doctor, have a test done, and if you're low, you can always take a supplement. I really like this one. This is a liquid. I take a couple of drops under my tongue. It's tasteless and it seems to be doing the job. But like I said, K2 is really important if you take a vitamin D supplement, and please get tested first. This little bottle right here has some iodine in it, some liquid iodine, which I actually make myself. And iodine is essential for thyroid function. I have hypothyroidism, so I have been taking iodine for probably about 10 years, if not longer. But interestingly enough, though iodine is essential for thyroid function, it is a bit controversial. Some doctors say to never take iodine, and others say it is essential and to take a supplement. I have been taking it, like I said, for about 10 years. Not only has it helped my thyroid, but I used to have very tender breasts. I have a lot of lumps and bumps in my breasts. And since taking iodine, my breasts have gotten so much less tender. They're still a bit lumpy and bumpy, but they have gotten so much less tender. So if you have the same problem, look into iodine supplementation. But please talk to your doctor about it first. And then this is something I have been drinking in the mornings before I work out. This is Amazing Grass Green Superfood. It's a green drink. I like to drink this before I work out. Well, really I like to make a juice, but my juicer has been broken for weeks now, so I have been drinking this. I don't like to work out on an empty stomach, but I also don't like to have a bunch of food rolling around in my stomach. So this does the trick. It gives me a bit of energy, keeps me nice and sustained throughout my workout, and it gives me some extra nutrients, which is always a nice thing. And then along those lines, I also take a multivitamin. This is a food-based multivitamin. It is by Mega Food. It is the one daily. Now, I don't think a multivitamin is necessary. This is basically insurance for me, making sure I have all my bases covered. This is, like I said, food-based, so it is not very high dosaged. So the risk of toxicity, if we take synthetic vitamins, some of them can actually build up in our system if they're fat soluble, such as vitamin A. This is, like I said, food-based, so instead of synthetic vitamin A, it has beta-carotene. So the risk of toxicity is very low, and because it is food-based, it is very easily absorbed. So this is something, like I said, I take just for insurance, and it's sort of along the lines with the green juice, just giving me some extra nutrients to cover all my bases. This right here is another supplement I have been taking for probably over a decade and do not want to be without. This is Ashwanganda, and Ashwanganda is an Indian herb which is known to be an adaptogenic, so it can help your body adapt to stress. It is also helpful for your thyroid as well as your adrenal glands. I have been taking this, like I said, for about a decade now. I started because I was under a lot of stress back then, and it really helped me. It helped me just calm down a little bit, helped me sleep, and to this day, it really helps me sleep. Now I take 2 of these in the morning, and it just sort of keeps me mellow. It doesn't make me tired or anything. And then I take 2 at night. And though again, they don't make me tired, they really help me sleep. I always have these on my nightstand, and if for some reason I can't go to sleep because my mind just doesn't want to shut up, or if I wake up in the middle of the night and I have a hard time falling back asleep, I take another 2, and usually that does the trick. So Ashwanganda, something else I do not want to be without. Next, I have a liquid probiotic right here. And probiotics are something I take on and off. I don't take them all the time, just when I feel that my body really needs them. I do try to eat a lot of pre and probiotics. I eat a lot of yogurt, kombucha, those sort of things. But I started taking this particular one about 2 months ago. I had to go on a round of antibiotics because I was bitten by a tick and I was showing signs of possible Lyme disease. So I had to go on a round of antibiotics. Once I finished them, I started taking an antibiotic. I can't say that I noticed much taking this, and honestly, I don't know if I ever noticed much taking a probiotic. But if you have a probiotic you really love and you notice a difference with it, please let us know in the comments. Next, I have 2 different vitamin B12 supplements. Both of these are sublingual. Now, I am vegan, so I don't get any B12 in my diet unless I eat a lot of brewer's yeast, which I do not like. However, vitamin B12 deficiency is not just of concern to vegans and vegetarians, but a lot of meat eaters are also vitamin B12 deficient. So I take 2 different vitamin B12 supplements. Again, both of these are sublingual. This one right here is methylcobalamin. And methylcobalamin is vitamin B12 in its already active form. Years ago, all we had on the shelves was cyanocobalamin. And cyanocobalamin is the synthetic form of vitamin B12, which the body has to turn into methylcobalamin to be able to use it. So now we have methylcobalamin, less work for the body can already use it. The reason I have 2 different forms of vitamin B12 is that if I take methylcobalamin on a daily basis, I can take this about 2 or 3 days a week, and I want to take it a couple of times a week because again, it is the active form of vitamin B12. But if I take this on a daily basis, I become very hyperactive. I start bouncing off the walls, and eventually I won't be able to sleep. Our bodies have a methylation cycle, which is a complicated, fascinating, but complicated thing. And I'm not even going to pretend to understand it 100%. I have studied it, but like I said, it is complicated, but also fascinating. But basically, methylation is very important. It is important for detoxification and a host of other things. Some bodies are a bit better at methylating than others. I am what is considered an over-methylator, meaning my body is very good at methylating. I have a lot of methyl groups floating around. So even though I want methylcobalamin because it is the active form of vitamin B12, if I take it too often, it adds too many methyl groups to my body, and therefore, like I said, I become hyperactive. So I also take this right here. This is Hydroxycobalamin as well as Adenosylcobalamin. And actually several of you have reached out and told me that you were taking methylcobalamin and the same thing happened. You were getting really hyperactive and you couldn't sleep. So this is where the Hydroxo and Adenosylcobalamin comes in. Now Hydroxycobalamin, the body needs to turn into methylcobalamin. But again, for those of us who have a bunch of methyl groups floating around, it's not a bad idea. The body takes a couple of methyl groups, attaches it to the hydroxycobalamin, and turns it into methylcobalamin without the risk of hyperactivity. And then adenosylcobalamin is also vitamin B12 in its already active form. But for me at least, it is less stimulating. And adenosylcobalamin is really important for mitochondrial health. So I take both of these. Like I said, I take this about 2 days a week. The other days I take this. And again, both of these are sublingual. I think that taking a vitamin B12 in sublingual form is a good idea because sometimes it's a bit difficult to actually absorb vitamin B12 if we're taking it in a capsule or a multivitamin. All right, let's see. We have 2 more, and both of these I only take at night. The first one is this right here. This is my Liposomal Melatonin. Again, I'm a big fan of liposomal delivery. Now, melatonin, of course, we know is a hormone our body produces at night, and it helps us sleep. It is also a powerful antioxidant. Now, I actually had my melatonin tested, and it was low. That is why I take melatonin. However, it being a hormone, it is not necessarily a good idea to always take melatonin because we believe that the body has a feedback loop, meaning if we give it something it naturally produces, it might stop producing it. But since I was tested and I was low, I have been taking melatonin for quite a while now. And like I said, I like liposomal delivery. I actually have tried melatonin in all kinds of forms, capsules, drops, tablets, and never noticed much. But using it in liposomal form has made a big difference. I fall asleep easier, I sleep better, so this is something I take every night. And then lastly, another thing I take every night is this right here. This is a magnesium drink. It is called Calm, they call it the anti-stress drink, and it is magnesium carbonate. There are different forms of magnesium. Some are absorbed easier than others. I have no problem at all absorbing this one, and it also doesn't give me loose stools or anything. Magnesium is a muscle relaxant. It is also known as nature's tranquilizer, but taking too much of it can give you diarrhea, loose stools. I haven't had any problems with this one, but I do feel that it helps me sleep and it helps me relax. Magnesium is also essential for over 300 functions in our body. So magnesium, an important one. Like I said, I take this every night. I like the taste of it, and again, it helps me relax and helps me sleep. So these are all the supplements and vitamins I take on a regular basis. And I have to admit, when I put them all in my basket, it did seem like a lot. Now, some of them, of course, are not necessary. Like I said, the multivitamin, the grass juice, those are not necessary, but some of them I do not want to be without. Now, taking supplements is such a personal choice, and I by no means am saying that you need to take any of these. And if you are thinking of taking any of the ones I just shared with you, please check with your doctor first. Make sure that they work for you and that there won't be any side effects. I would love to know in the comments what sort of supplements, vitamins, anything else you're taking and how it is working for you. I hope that this video was helpful, interesting, entertaining. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. I always love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time. Bye.